Hello, and welcome to Danctuary.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Danctuary Episode 4, where we're going to discuss our final thoughts on the Season 22 patch notes, and we're going to dive into the seasonal theme. I'm joined by mega YouTuber Rhykker, mega streamer Bluddshed, the new meta podcast host ThaPChild, and the wonderful partnered Miss Annacake, and first girl ever on Danctuary. How are you all doing today?
Good,
Wonderful.
good. Doing great.
Amazing. So before we begin, we're going to do something a little bit different on this podcast. We're going to do something fun at the end. So if you go to twitter.com/danctuary, we posted a tweet just before we started and asked us where you can ask us anything that you want. And at the end, we're going to take your questions. They do not have to be Diablo related as long as they don't violate the TOS, and we can discuss it. So go over to Twitter, tweet us whatever you want, and we can discuss that. One final thing, you don't see him here, but in the background, we have Mr. SVR, Matt, running the production and making everything run smoothly for us. So thank you for SVR for being here, even though he's not in the discussion today. So for the very first topic, myself, Rhykker, and Bluddshed had a chance to talk a lot on episode 1 about all the item changes and all the set changes that came with the Season 22 patch, but we have not had a chance to hear from Mr. ThaPChild and Miss Anna about that. So starting with Mr. ThaPChild, if you wouldn't mind, can you please tell us what did you think about the changes and how is Season 22 looking for you in general?
Yeah, changes were not exactly what I expected, I guess, coming out of the gate. If somebody were to ask me before the season hit, what was I gonna put my money on, I would have thought Wizard was gonna be top tier and potentially that, Uliana's Monk was gonna get some juice. But to see the Crusader Bombardment set come back was a surprise, I guess. And all in all, I think there was some really good changes in there as far as conceptually, but the items needed some work. Zombie Bears is a huge fan favorite from the community, so it was nice to see that try to get some love. And the Wizard Energy Twister combo looked really good on paper, although in practice it doesn't really work. But so all in all, I think it was a good attempt, a first start. But do you want me to talk about after playing them as well, or just in general?
Sure, yeah. How did it feel after playing it?
Zombie Bears needs like an extra couple zeros added to the damage multiplier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but honestly, I think the play style for Zombie Bears was fun. I didn't hate it, which is surprising because that was one of the. I did a lot of talks about Zombie Bears before I play tested it, and I thought it was going to be garbage. And actually playing it was kind of fun. I had a good time. Energy Twister just doesn't work in general. Like it you can't control the damage. You can't even get any kind of density without breaking the servers. There's just so many things that are wrong with it. And then Death Wish needs to go like forever. But yeah, there's a lot of things with Energy Twister I think need to be changed. And Crusader is just so powerful, man. It's like it's gonna get hit. I keep saying it's gonna get hit with a nerf stick, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's crazy strong. So Anna, I know you're a witch doctor extraordinaire, but what did you think about all the changes? How's Season 22 looking for you?
I was actually really surprised with the changes, what we saw in the PTR, because I kind of get used to previous 3 seasons. We had always changes for 2 characters, for 3 characters, but not like changes for all characters. Anyway, like something is better, something is worse, but we all got something. And yeah, mainly Witch Doctor, I was excited. I was surprised. I don't know. I didn't expect chicken buff. We got the crazy chicken.
Yeah.
Now you can, on Witch Doctor, you can literally put chicken weapon, chicken mojo, I guess, in every gear. And it will be amazing. It will be really, really quick. So Chicken Witch Doctor is back. So I'm really happy with this. And yeah, of course, like as PTR said, we got the buff for Rhykker, we got the buff for Zombie Bass, for Helltooth, but it's not enough. They're not even they're not even close to Mandunugu damage. They need more buffs. But I'm really happy that anyway, Blizzard buffed other sets, other builds for Witch Doctor. Not only overpowered, but because right now, like we have only Mundunugu, it's overpowered. Yeah, it's destroying everything, but that's it. Everything else is around level 100. So I'm actually really happy that Blizzard going in the direction of buffing, of improving other sets, other builds. And I truly believe, yeah, that Crusader gonna be nerfed and Witch Doctor will be buffed, Zombie Bass will be buffed. At
The
least
dream,
Zombie
man.
Bass. I don't know
Yeah.
everyone else.
So Anna, you talked about chicken. And I'm sure this has been beat into the ground forever and ever, but I feel like chicken needs a bigger explosion radius, A, and B, I think some ideas that I've heard are like little mini bombs coming out afterwards that just kind of spread around. Like I think of it kind of like mines coming out, but just little chickens could run out from your main
Little
explosion.
eggs, yeah.
Little
Yeah,
eggs, I was thinking that too,
like
yeah.
detonate afterwards.
Too
Like
good.
how cool would that be? You know?
Yeah, I guess
So-
chicken, the main problem with chicken, we did some testing and we did some speed running with Monk and with Demon Hunter. Oh my gosh, Demon Hunter. Chicken is as fast as God DH. The only problem of a chicken, the chicken is not dealing any damage during the time you're in the chicken form. Like, yeah, if the chicken would be running and dropping something in
Yeah.
between.
Laying eggs.
Yeah, that would be actually something. Because right now, yeah, we are the same speed, but Demon Hunt is vaporizing the whole map.
Yep.
So that's really good thoughts by PTR, and I thought that was another huge problem. So we have a couple of problems with chicken, right? The first problem is the radius isn't big enough, so we got to do something about that. Maybe it's increased by half of your pickup radius or whatever. And then Anna brings up a really good point. Things like the Whirlwind Bar, the Tempest Rush Monk, the God DH, they're dealing damage while they move. Chicken is just being a chicken and clucking and running really fast, right? And that's amazing, but it's also not getting us any Paragon points. So another thing that I found about the chicken Witch Doctor is when I'm doing speeds is I found the damage on the actual elites to sometimes be inconsistent. Sometimes you clear the whole map and sometimes it doesn't hit very hard. So one thing that I was wondering for the chicken build, is there some way, since it's a speed build, I don't want it to get overpowered and start being this like godly solo pushing build, but could we give it like 100% chance to crit so that big bomb always is going to clear everything that you hit? Would you guys be in favor of that or not? Or is there a different solution?
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%.
Anything, I think we're just like grasping for. We want it to work, so anything would be great.
Give us anything.
Yeah, like I think somebody mentioned one time if your explosion radius was as big as your pickup radius, that might be insane. You know, if it mirrored that. So if it was like based on avarice, then you'd have like this huge nuke. You know what I mean? And that would solve a lot of the problems, I think.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I felt the same. Right. I felt like it wasn't critting sometimes, and that's why I feel like you had no damage. You're like, why didn't they blow up? Or if you have a 5-pack of blues, it's like you're not going to get the 5-pack of blues ever, you know. So that's why I think the mini eggs or the little mini bombs coming out would be good, and then maybe potentially lowering the cooldown to get back into chicken too. If you do miss something, like, you know, just let you get back into it and set another bomb off quicker.
So that is a perfect segue kind of into our other discussion. We're already kind of doing it. So one thing, and maybe we can start with Rhykker here. One thing that I've been wondering is, what builds have you been playing on the PTR? Has it been fun? Has it been disappointing? What surprised you? Are there any changes to any of the builds? Have you gotten to try anything on the PTR, CJ? And what's been sparking your interest, or what tremendously disappointed you?
Yeah, so I played a lot of the Bombardment Crusader. I'm tremendously disappointed in that. It definitely needs a couple more zeros, as PTR was.
You'd be able to clear GR 200, not just 170.
Yeah, so obviously the Bombardment Crusader is absolutely insane. I think we're all in agreement that it's expect it to get a nerf. If it goes
Yeah.
live as it is, I mean, it's a Crusader season. To be fair though, going into this patch, I expected God to get nerfed. It didn't, because Demon Hunters were just ignored completely, which is fine. But then the bombardment is just blowing God out of the water completely. So I played some of that. I played the Carnival Necro, happy with the buffs there. I think for Season 22, Carnival Necro is going to be in a really good place. So when I say Carnival, not Carnival, the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival Necro with the Bone Spears, I think it would have been nice if they gave it an item that buffs its damage, right? The bracers. I think if that had been folded into just the damage multiplier of the set itself, and then those bracers could be just a kind of a utility bracer, because Necros don't have a lot of good bracer options. So instead of a damage multiplier, maybe just some utility type thing that could be used across multiple builds. Because the base set itself, it's not that it's overpowered, and I'm concerned about after the seasonal theme goes away, you're not benefiting from that 4th cube slot. The Bone Spear Necro is going to get kind of back to not really being an all-star, because it's been my favorite Necro build. I've for years struggled to find a Necro build that I enjoy playing. Bone Spear, when they released that set, I loved it. It just wasn't strong enough. Now it's a lot stronger, so I'm happier. But it can get a little bit more love in the next season, at least. It'll be fine with the Rylena Shadow Hook that you can work in, for the 4th cube slot. Other than that, I did a little bit of Frozen Orb Wizard. It was a nice buff. It didn't blow me away. I don't know that I had any big disappointments, really. But the main star, obviously, is going to be Bombardment. And the big question is how they're going to handle that nerf when they do. A lot of talk about the 2-piece on Invoker.
Yeah, so you made a really interesting point about the damage buff on being built in somewhere, and then like the bracers could be some kind of utility. One thing about Necro, at least in solo, is sometimes a lot of the builds that they had, and they haven't had really great options, rely on taking Nemesis bracers and nemming a pylon and getting like an illusionist pack so you can proc area damage, so you can have like a chance to kill the boss. So it's like this really terrible fish, essentially, like Death Nova and the Poison Scythe, and not quite to the same level. But so it would be interesting to see, if you could build some utility into the bracers, and if you could get away with not using NEMs, because those illusionist elites really, really help. It's an interesting idea. What about the rest of you? What did you guys think? What have you been testing? What sparked your interest?
Been testing everything.
Yeah.
It's
One thing
everything.
Yeah, everything. Edge Sigil sucks that that it's not for Meteor Shower anymore. Like that really kind of upset me. So one thing I noticed though, playing it without Edge Sigil, is it's exactly the same. Like the playstyle doesn't change when you're using Teguk with Meteor Shower. It doesn't break the channeling. You can use even EB and all that stuff with the build. And so it really just is down to them buffing the Meteor staff to bring the build back. And that would be pretty cool, because I know it's a fan favorite. It's one of my favorite builds. And I was pretty happy to see, I guess, even though it's really weak, is that it still reigns true to the original build. It just needs a buff. So that'd be good. Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about Death Wish earlier. That'd be cool if they just made it all twisters. I'll make the twister the channeling build, and then everybody else gets to free cast and use generators and things like that.
Yeah, I think those are good points. I still think that Wizard needs some T16 speeds. It's so far behind. Unless, I mean, I know a lot of people like to run Frozen Orb 16s, but it doesn't feel as good as like some of the other options that you have out there. Like an example, like Singularity Mage on Necro is going to be ridiculous for key farming this season. God DH is crazy fast. Even Whirlwind is fast, but I feel like Wizard's missing that juice. And that's a huge deterrent for me to play the class in the season. It's like if I don't have a way to reliably farm, if I can farm keys twice as fast on another character, I'm going to make that character and start playing him in 16s. And then I'm not going to want to play the character at all. So I would love to see the return personally of Explosive Blast Wizard. I love that build, man. I would love to see that come back.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, it's about a 2-minute build right now with the 4th slot. It's pretty fast still, but it's not like, it's not up there with God DH, right? But
you got Explosive Blast in 2 minutes? Or which build?
Explosive
Yeah.
Blast and
that's cool.
Frozen Orb are like
Yeah, that'd be fun.
consistently 2-minute runs. It's just, it doesn't have the God DH level, but not many builds have that. So we're
Yeah.
asking for a lot in a way, I guess.
Right.
So, do you guys have any ideas of what they could do right now to make Wizard as fast? Is it a problem with teleport? If they changed teleport, would that be enough to make it close to God DH level for speeds? Or does it need even more?
It would
than
help
that?
a lot. Like, internal cooldown would definitely help a lot and make it just feel better overall. A lot of times when you're casting, there's like a delay for Frozen Orb, there's a delay for your generator, and there's a delay for teleport. So all these little micro delays add up when everybody's gone. Everybody's just hit the rockets and they're way ahead. So it hurts more when you're in a group. When you're solo, you don't notice it. I can get consistent 2 minutes, but yeah, I would say remove the teleport cooldown and maybe buff like the size of Frozen Orb's radius even more, or like the Arcane Orbit ability even more. So one of those would be good.
Here's a crazy idea. What if there was a legendary power of some kind that lowers the cooldown tremendously of teleport, and every time you teleport, it casts your most recent skill. So if you throw a Frozen Orb and then you teleport, and then it's going to cast a Frozen Orb, deet, 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 and then teleport becomes your way of casting it until either you run out of teleports or you decide to do something else. Maybe that could be it.
That's kind of how the dagger works. The new arcane dagger, the arcane orb dagger, it does proc off of calamity because it technically attacks. So if it procced more often, then your idea would work with the dagger if they just made like a higher proc chance or something. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the problem that these builds are slow, or is the problem that God DH is broken? That's something that I often fight with in my head all the time.
Well, if you make us slower, then we're going to have riots in the streets.
I know that's the problem, isn't it?
You can't take something away from us. Everyone's going to cry about it.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. The thing about God DH is it's just so good at everything, right? It's so fast. It's so tanky. It does tremendous AoE. It does pretty good single target. It attacks while you're moving. It's like, okay.
Too good, nerf it.
Yeah. All the demon hunters are gonna hate me. Yeah, it's so good. It's just too good. So.
Having those slow time elites too and GRs with God DH is like it's like having another Condi pylon versus other classes don't have like that insane. So that they have like a lot of benefits for sure.
I think I got one slow time elite or champion like all season last season though. I'm like, where are they at, dude? Can I get some?
So I pretty much agree with everything that you guys said. Did any of you guys try LOD Hydra specifically with Death Wish in the cube? Did any of you guys try that?
I didn't know.
It is not fun. It is not fun to play. You have to like stack your Arcane Dynamo and lay the Hydra, stack it again, lay another Hydra, and then start channeling. And then the Hydra is about to expire, and then you have to do it again. It's just like, and then you have to, by the way, you also have to cast the Blizzard, which doesn't last that long. So it's like stack, Hydra, Blizzard,
it's
start
toxic,
channeling. Yeah,
I did Typhon Hydra, and it's the same thing. Yeah, just weaker, I guess.
I don't mind it without Death Wish, but when you add Death Wish, it's just the next level, like really bad for the game for anybody because it's not enjoyable. Without Death Wish, I was getting used to it. It's fine, but it's weird casting Blizzard, but it's fine. It's just with the Death Wish, it's another level of no. It's like stutter stepping with Hammerden back in the day, and it's just not fun for most people, I would think.
So is the solution there? It's the helmet. It's making you have to cast Blizzard. If they just changed it to Frost Nova, that the helmet casts, right? Or should they change the auto cast instead of Frost Nova to Blizzard and have it shoot the blizzards for you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Question for you, Rax. Was this a build that you were excited about going into the PTR?
I really was, because I saw LOD Hydra as a super strong build already, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
build gets Death Wish,
Right?
and that's a big multiplier. I'm like, LOD Hydra is gonna dominate, but then I played it.
So that's your biggest disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, that's easily my biggest disappointment, and probably also Twister. I mean, I made a group. We walked in. I threw a Twister, and we crashed.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't play. I can't do anything. Did any of you try it in solo? Does it work in solo?
Solo, I had no lag until like GR 20-ish, 120. So yeah, I didn't really have much lag solo. But I would imagine the group play is insane. All the inputs and server calculations. Yikes.
Yeah, we'll see if they have anything for us there. So here's a question, and we'll see if it's an overwhelming response. But which seasonal theme do you guys like better, the clones or the 4th cube slot, and why? And maybe we can start with Anna. What do you think?
4th cube slot, of course. I guess it's like a huge damage buff for everyone. Like everyone can choose, and plus we got with the 4th cube slot we're getting a lot of variety. Like because each build now you can play in a different way. And yeah, that's amazing. And like, yeah, a lot of community talks about what should we do? Who should we ask? Like to keep the 4th cube slot forever. Just give it to us. We wanna keep it. We wanna use it. And clones are amazing for some classes. Okay. But this PTR, by the way, it's the laggiest PTR for me. I don't know. I didn't even get the chance to play so much with the clones, because one day it's completely down. Second day it's clones are not there. But the 4th cube slot, like you see immediately the potential. You see how amazing it can be.
Yeah. It's like a quality of life change too. Like a lot of times you're like, I wish I could have perma Land of the Dead or perma Wrath of Berserker when you're doing speeds, and it really rectifies a lot of problems having the 4th cube slot there. Just in terms of making your play style better with Crusader, you can get like perma, Akarat's Champion or whatever. So it's just great for having the quality of life changes and the variety. And if you want to do something wacky, I guess you have all the tools there. So this is absolutely my favorite type of season, is a cube season for sure.
Do you think that the 4th cube should actually stay forever?
Do I think it should stay forever? Yeah, but I think the problem is that we don't have these type of themes every season. So if every season we had something similar, it would like fix the problem of us wanting to keep it. But I would want to keep it for sure. But if they give us something interesting like this every season, then I don't think we would want it so much, because we would be getting something every season.
So that ties into something that PTR mentioned. So if we get, let's say for example that they implement the 4th cube slot forever. One thing to consider about Diablo 3, which has been going on for a long time, is the power creep of Diablo, right? We like a 4-player Rift Guardian has what, 2.3 quintillion health, and an AoV satyr can kill him with a power pylon in 30 seconds in season 22. That's 2.3 quintillion health in 30 seconds. So one thing that PTR mentioned was, what about a stat squish in Diablo 3? If we keep adding all of these really cool powers that make us stronger, how many classes are going to be capped at 150 solo? And are you guys okay with that? Are they going to have to do a stat squish like they just did in World of Warcraft? Does anything need to be done there?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I know that it's impossible somehow why not just increasing the maximum amount of great rifts? Yeah, there is gonna be quintillion. I don't know how many zeros there behind, but still, like, okay, why not cutting a couple of zeros and making just because I truly believe that people don't wanna, don't nerf God DH. No, please don't touch it. We really like this damage. So people overall don't wanna see the nerf. They always wanna have more power. They wanna have the buff. They wanna move forward. So why not just adding more greater rifts? Why just not adding the higher level?
I think the reasoning behind it for me is that the servers can't process the math now as it is, and I think that's a huge issue with it. So I think I agree with your philosophy, and I think that's what Blizzard and the Diablo team originally intended to do, was to never have your character feel weaker than it was the day before when you logged on. But I think we've reached this threshold where the servers can't consistently handle the lag. And so my thought process behind this is, if we nerf globally everybody back down to the GR 70 range, like that's where your average player is going to fall. They're going to push a 70. And then the elite players might get 100. And it does a couple things. One, it gives a carrot on a stick for people to chase again, because now the carrot is a time trial with a 150. So it gives them a carrot to chase for the rifts. And then two, the servers could handle the DPS values better and hopefully have less lag. And three, it also slows progression down, because I feel like now our Paragon numbers are getting ridiculous and loot per hour is getting ridiculous, and it would slow those things down as well, which keeps us engaged in the chase for loot longer. And people will be super upset about the nerf initially. I feel like the first season or the first couple weeks, they would freak out. But after a season or a couple weeks, I think they would get over it and see the benefits of it and be like, oh, this is actually not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, so to add to what Mr. PTRchild said, I think there is also potentially, I've heard rumors that there are actually some system limitations where the numbers are actually getting so large that the actual greater rifts actually can't be made, like beyond a certain point. And yeah, it's tough to know exactly what the solution is. I agree with PTRchild that I think people will be extremely upset if all of a sudden, if they make the changes, if they balance anything or they balance everything, and all of a sudden you're doing a GR 70 when last season you were doing a GR 140. Even though it's all relative, right? You're in a new season. It's how you perform compared to other people on the leaderboards, but it's not going to feel the same to people, and people are definitely going to complain. And this far into this game's development, is it worth potentially fixing the server lag in order to get the backlash that may be coming this far into the life cycle? In my opinion, I guess it's hard. I'll do anything to fix the server lag. Maybe then we could play Twister Wizard and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you guys pull that trigger and do the stat swish or not?
To fight the lag?
Yeah,
I think that'd be a lot of development time to get all this to work. And I'm just thinking of like the year where we're not going to be doing anything. So I would balance the game. Right? Like it would just be like no patches.
13 all over again.
Yeah. So I think the best thing for the game would be to balance all the 5K Paragon boys, to have them in the low 140s, and then to have like the 2K, 1 to 2K around the 130, 125 to 130 range, something like that, for sure. Like they pretty much have been doing a decent job balancing. We have a lot of playstyles in 2020 that we haven't had in previous years. So I think just continuously balancing what we do have, just raising the cap would just, it's like nerfing your character, right? Because now you can't climb, or you can't climb as high. It's like the same kind of thing. And but if it guarantee fixes the lag, that would be great. But yeah, I don't know. I would just balance it around the 140 to 120 to 140 range for sure. Give us more builds. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, we got to this through a series of decisions made years and years ago, and now that we've been so ingrained in this way of doing things, it's really difficult to do a sudden shift, right? So way back in the past of D3, the devs would nerf things, and everyone complained, and so the devs at some point were like, fine. You guys want to complain so much? We're not going to nerf anything anymore. Only buffs from now on. And that's what led to the power creep, which seemed like a good idea at the time. The never nerf, only buffs seemed like a good idea at the time. And in the short term, it was a good idea. But it was a patchwork solution to a fundamental problem that made people happy in the short term, but led to ridiculous power creep, 20 difficulty levels, plus 150 greater rift levels, 10,000, 20,000% multipliers on everything, numbers getting absolutely out of control. And that's why I was surprised, actually, that it was, a season or two ago that we started to see some nerfs to builds that were, like, really strong. I'm like, oh, they're starting to nerf things again. Good. It looked to me like they're saying, okay, 150 is the cap. We don't want really people doing 150 or just a couple people doing 150. And as builds get close to that 150, we're going to nerf them. That's why I really expected GOD is going to get a nerf. It's not going to get RIP, but it's going to be nerfed at least to, just keep things right under that 150, kind of that range that Blood was talking about. I think that seems like the solution that would upset the least amount of people at this point. Like a stat squish, I'd be fine with it. But, as Anna explained, people would get upset, right? If you just kind of nerf just the top builds enough to keep us in that range, you're also buffing the other builds, bringing them up more, opening up more build diversity. That might be the solution. The best way, the best way to make a bad situation okay, I guess. Like, this isn't a good situation to be in, right? Like, when a game has so many, a ridiculous number of difficulty levels, right? Like, what game releases with that many difficulty levels? It's not the best game design to be in this situation. Like, a new player comes to D3 and they're like, okay, normal, hard, expert, 16 torment levels. Like, what is this game? Like Greater Rifts is one thing because it's whatever, it's meant to scale up, but just the base difficulty, yeah. So be it a stat squish, be it just keeping things under that 150, something's got to be done.
Yeah, it's like if you have the torment levels, right? And let's say everyone says torments are too easy, right? So then you add torment 20. Now you're killing off half the builds that can barely even make it. And then that lowers build diversity. So adding more levels isn't necessarily going to make it better. Adding more builds in general is going to make it better. So that's why I was like, just balance around 140, give us more and more play styles. And, Necro has right now like 3 really rock solid builds at least, like almost in the S tier. So you have like Corpse Explosion, Poison Scythe, and the Bone Spear, right? So like having variety, so the Rhykker can play his Bone Spear, and then someone can play Poison Scythe. I think just the variety is everything, So
yeah, I agree with the variety for sure. Mm-hmm. It's think about all the torment levels we don't even use. Like, when was the last time you ran a torment 12?
Never. 1 hour and 10 minutes into last season for one rift, and then I'm like, I can do 16.
Yeah, it's like there's there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily need either.
Yeah. All right, that was an amazing discussion. So let's talk about the 4th cube slot here for a second. So the 4th cube slot, in some cases you throw in, you just throw in an extra buff, like, a Unity and I take half damage, or a Furnace, I do more damage to elites. But for some builds, it actually changes the way that you can play. For example, now POJ can use Patterns of Justice, Tempest Rush can use Shenlongs. Whirlwind Barb can potentially take Focus and Restraint, and Necros can power up their builds, all their builds tremendously. What builds does the 4th cube slot make you excited to play in season 22? Maybe we can start with PTRchild.
Necro.
Just cubing all the weapons.
Just cube everything. I don't know. It's good for everything. Necro feels really good having that extra weapon slot. I mean, because let's be real, that's what it is. It's extra weapon slot on Necro. But just like you said, everything works, man. God DH, you can throw in your elusive ring, or you could throw your convention if you prefer to run elusive, or maybe Odyssey's End even to get the extra 150% damage from that. So there's a lot of choices everywhere. So I think that's the coolest thing. Earlier we talked about would it be like more of the shadow clones or the 4th cube slot. I think we got derailed a little, but I personally would pick the 4th cube if I had to, because for everybody, it doesn't matter what your favorite build is, you just got juiced up. I don't care what you like to play. You could play, zombie bears, that needs some zeros added to it. Doesn't matter. You still got that 4th cube. So, but as far as what to play, as of right now, I think Necro is a lot of fun for me personally. I think I'm gonna roll Necro. If the season launched today, I would roll Necro.
Yeah, and one thing that you said, PTR, which I think is a huge determining factor in how much the public perceives and likes a seasonal buff. You said, I don't care what build you play, you just got stronger.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's exactly it, because the thing about the 4th cube slot is it's easy for everyone to understand the benefit that you can get from the seasonal theme. You understand it completely. You have your build, you know what your problem is. You either take the most damage that you can get if you can survive, or if you're having trouble surviving, now you pick up something that's really going to help you survive. And it's very easy for the public to perceive it. And I think for that reason, seasonal themes like that go over very well in the community. But with a shadow clone, for example, how much is it going to help you? Well, we're going to talk about that in a second, but it's a little bit harder to understand when you're reading through a gigantic page of 1,000 different builds and like, oh my God, what is this? It seems very overwhelming, and it's just difficult to understand unless you jump on the PTR and try it.
Yep.
Yeah, Rex mentioned that some builds have more interesting combos. One build that probably no one's thinking about is Roland, a Roland Crusader. It's probably like low B tier or whatever, like it's whatever. But since they added the Norvald set, you can actually rock the 400% damage increase. And then in the 4 slot, you can put in the denial shield. So, and then you get all your multipliers. I was getting consistently 2-minute T16s, sub 2-minute C16s, and we did a 110 with 800 Paragon. Pretty insane. 100 gem levels. So there's a lot of fun things. You just have to kind of dig, And I think P said no matter what build you play, it got juiced up. And like if you always ever want to play Roland, this is the strongest it's ever been, for instance.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all got something. Mundunugo Witch Doctor, because you can use now, you have a 4th cube slot and you can put the conversion of elements. The damage is just skyrocketing. Mundunugo Witch Doctor is going back. It's not there how it was in season 20, but the damage increase, it's really, really huge. And if you will add there tiny little bit, like 5k Paragon, you will probably be able to do those crazy things like explode everyone, with free supports, probably even explode the Rift Guardian. So yeah, 4th cube slot is giving us a lot. And also, which is making it possible to play Chicken Witch Doctor with Mundunugo.
Yeah, and with Trag'Oul's, I don't think it was in the patch notes, but the Trag'Oul's double dipping of the simulacrums has been fixed. So Poison Scythe, I think, is going to be roughly the same, right? Because you lose the bug, but you pick up the Raylinas, but they don't get any benefit, right? They have to pick up the Raylina, so they're going to be about where they were. Bone Spear is on the rise, but currently the Bomb Satyr is just ridiculous. If they tune the Bomb Satyr back, it might be Mundunugo back as the trash clearer. They might be there. So
That was
that's
so
gonna
fun too. I don't know personally how you guys feel, but I love trash clearing on Mundunugo. It was a good time. So
It's a super awesome build, super interesting play style. In my opinion, it takes a good amount of skill to play it correctly. So I liked it a lot.
I'm just taking the time to appreciate double dipping. Good job, man.
And thank you so much for explaining me.
Yeah, we had a little chat before what the little slip actually meant, and now we're all completely clear. All right, so let's dive into the clones. Okay, Attack of the Clones on Star Wars, and if Matt would be so kind to kind of queue up some videos that are going to play here. So I made 2 characters. So I activated the clones there, and I have a blue there that's pretty badly hurt in a 120. And it's okay if you can't see it. I'll give you a spoiler alert. The clones actually cannot kill the blue. So the blues, you can see there, they're kind of half dead. My shadow clone is trying to do some damage. I can tell you that my wizard has pretty incredible gear. So I spent a lot of time sitting there, re-rolling on the PTR. And the first thing that I did is I pushed with Demon Hunter, and my clones at this tier at 120 were dominating. They were just killing multiple elites for me easily. And then I started playing Wizard to try it, and they did absolutely no damage. So here is an example of a Wizard clone just completely letting me down and just making me lose. And then once this is complete, I will show you the different, or Matt's going to pull up the difference. Here is a Demon Hunter. So I grab the pylon, and this yellow is at full health. Same tier, 120. A same scenario. Very, very good gear. Same Paragon level. No augments. Same gem levels. And the shadow clone will easily be able to kill the yellow, and I'll go into another room, and then it will start killing another elite for me. And actually I died at like 45 seconds because I was trying not to attack, and also because I'm bad. So it doesn't even get the full minute, but you can see there, easily killed that yellow. 100-0. I got time to move to a new room, find a new elite, and the clone before I dies almost kills that blue as well. So with those two videos out of the way, thank you, Matt, for playing those. Rob and North War, they are major members of the Diablo community, did a lot of extensive testing on the clones. So 100% credit to them. Let me give you some of the information that they figured out about it. So the first thing I think, as Blood also noticed, is you must have a legendary equipped for some reason. Otherwise, your clones just don't do any damage. So you need to get a legendary, which won't be hard, right? You do the challenge rift, you gamble for something, and you have a legendary. So at 16 or whatever, you're going to have that. And also, strangely enough, I think it was Woody who figured out that you can't just have a legendary equipped. You also have to put items in your other slots. Otherwise, it doesn't do any damage. So we need a legendary, and we need some items on, and then they start dealing damage. So the damage of the clones is going to scale with sheet damage. And if you're in a group, it scales with the sheet damage of whoever clicks the pylon. So you want whoever has the most juicy stats to click the pylon. Interestingly enough, in the two videos you just saw, the wizard with super good gear had like 1.9 million sheet, and the god DH had like 5 million sheet. So that's like a huge difference, right? In why the wizard clones do absolutely nothing and why the demon hunter clones dominate. But that's just the nature of how those builds roll, right? A wizard with 2 million sheet at that level has really good gear, but a god DH has like 5 million because it's crazy. Area damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage are dynamic. And that means if you click a pylon with 100% crit hit chance, then for some reason some buff falls off and your crit hit chance drops, the damage of your clones will also drop. The elemental damage does work. It's from whoever clicks the pylon, and the elemental damage will only apply to if the clone uses the same element type skill. So if you have a bunch of fire damage and you spawn a clone that does poison damage, for example, well, that's just too bad. Additive buffs, main stat, and elemental damage are all dynamic. Elite damage works in general. Skill damage and multiplicative buffs don't work. Captain Crimson's works to some extent. TNT, Tasker and Theo, increases the damage of your pets, does not work. So that's just like a blast of information about what Rob and North War tested. So I guess first question is let's just make it really simple. What did you guys think of the clones? Did the clones help you? Did they help you in some areas and some not? Just what were your general takes on the clones in using them?
I don't like the clones at all. So but one thing I like about them, I guess, like the one small thing for me is they can solo the Rift Guardian for you, right? So I guess that opens up more build opportunities. If you're solo pushing, you don't have to carry Stricken anymore, and then maybe you can focus on other things. For instance, so in that regard, I guess that's what's the most interesting thing for me about the clones. But I mean, it seems like a nightmare to balance. I mean, there's so many different, like even within each class, all the 3 different builds that they get do different damage. Like they have varying damage. So it just seems like too many variables. I would simplify the whole process and probably just give us 1 clone and per class, and then it's like, I don't know, 1 ability and just easy calculation. So there's not so many variables for sure.
Yeah, I thought.
And
Oh, go ahead, Anna.
they're working completely different on different classes. For example, on Witch Doctor, you can equip just you don't need to fill all the slots on your, because I was testing it. I was wearing only the weapon just to see what's the difference will it make. Everything else, there was nothing on my character, and it's still the clone on level 100 destroyed the elite on Witch Doctor. And yeah, how I feel, what I saw, level 100 Witch Doctor clones destroying everything. They can kill elite. Level 120, they're doing a little bit okay, but they're not game changing. They're not doing something like that. The only cool thing, one of the clones, has a really cool buff. It has equipped ability Hound, which is gonna give you 20% increased damage, which is awesome. But that's it for the higher grade rifts, for pushing. And also you can see it most of the time. Also, like, where it is, I don't know. Like, I understand that you kind of can feel how much time left with the clone, because you can see the timer of the pylon, but it's not exactly precise, because if you don't have flavor of time, then no, okay, I don't see it. I can see clone. It's there in my Mundunugus. It's invisible. Anyway, it's in all the effects you can see it.
Yeah, and the sprinkler. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, like in all the characters, you knew somewhere there it was. I guess now it's over. I guess nothing is happening right now anymore. I usually only I'm noticing it because I see the effects. Okay, oh, he's doing something. Something is happening, but I don't see him. Where exactly he is. So, and I know that for on the different characters, they're working completely different. Like, even like, different builds. They're doing different things. I don't know. I have no idea how to balance it.
Yeah, you can add all the sheet damage in the world, like all the juice, all these crazy things that affect them. Like the Crusader clones are still really weak compared to the Demon Hunter clones. Like it's not just how you can modify them. They're also balanced. They have like a tier list for the build, and there's a tier list for clones.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I tested it with like absolutely nothing, and they all have different levels of damage. So it's crazy.
I
It's a
think
nightmare to balance.
Yeah, some of the problem, kind of what Anna was talking about, is so in general, you're running through a rift. When you get a pylon, you expect your character to be stronger, right? So when you hit the pylon, your character now has this influx of power, and then you start killing things. Well, the clone's going to come and give you an even greater influx of power, but you don't really see it. You don't even really notice it because you think the power is kind of coming from the pylon in general, anyways. So it's hard to see where they're at. It's hard to see what they're doing. It's hard to even see how much they're contributing. There's no timer to track it. And you're already juiced up from the pylon anyway. So it's not like this immediate, like, oh man, I can really tell he's helping me. You're like, no, I think my damage is coming from the power I just got or from that conduit I just got. You can't see how much they're doing. So to me, it's almost unnoticeable. It's kind of like just ignore them and keep doing your thing. And oh, cool, I might be a little stronger. I'm not really sure. So that's, I think, how a lot of people are going to feel about the seasonal theme. And I actually have to stop and look for them to see where they're at. Like, what's my shadow doing right now? Try to find
Exactly.
So I just ignore it and just keep doing my thing. And all in all, I think it's a cool concept, but I think in practice it's not really a great seasonal theme because you don't notice it, you can't track it, it's inconsistent, and you just keep playing the same way you were going to play without it anyways. So
Yeah, so here was my experience day one with the Shadow Clones. So the first thing I did was I put together a God DH because just it's a build I had been playing all last season, and I was like, all right, I know how this works. I will be able to tell what the clones are doing for me, right? And the first thing I did was, I don't know, I opened a 120. I clicked a pylon, and the Shadow Clones, I pulled, 2 or 3 elites to the pylon, and the clone killed all 3 of them easily. And I sat there and I looked at my stream and I was like, I'm going to clear 150 with this build tonight. If this is how the clones work, I'm going to clear 150 tonight. And I didn't have the levels unlocked, so I clear 120, I could go 122, and just keep going up and up and up. I noticed though, and I didn't have it secure in my mind yet, that they scale off of your damage, right? So every time I opened another Greater Rift, I was not getting any stronger, but the Greater Rift was getting harder. So in 120, like Blood said, it was just one shot the Guardian, like kill it easily. 100-0. I didn't even have to do anything. I was like, okay, I can take out Stricken. This is going to be really easy. At 125, I named a clone on the Guardian, and it didn't kill him. It almost killed him, but it didn't completely kill him. And then I got to 130, and now it was a little bit different. Now they needed like the full entire minute, and I had to kill, the trash and really whittle it down for the clones to actually help me. And I did get a pylon on the boss. I named it, and the clones only did about 40% of its health. So it went from killing it effortlessly in 120 to not really helping at all. Well, don't get me wrong, 40% of the Guardian's HP is a big help, but the God DH can go way beyond 130, right? And so in the 140s and the 145s, you are going to get some benefit from getting, the more Paragon, right, and getting a little bit stronger. But I don't think it's going to be game changing at all in the higher levels, at least in solo. And did you guys try it in group play? The clones seem to do like almost nothing in group play. Like I didn't even notice them. Did you guys ever notice them
They
helping?
bugged out a lot for me in group play. I don't know if it was just random luck, bad luck, but like my partner's clone would like glitch on top of my character back and forth. It was a really crazy thing. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it was
Yeah, my clone left me for someone else. It was sad.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
that. Yeah, it would like go follow somebody else, like abandonment.
yeah. And it would just do nothing a lot of times too. It would just stand there and like not cast anything at all. So, which is kind of weird.
So I have a question for you guys, like philosophically about like the power level of these environmental buffs, right? So the way that it seems, the way that I see it, and you can feel free to disagree, but the way that I see this Shadow Clone buff is it's really going to help potentially the leveling process, right? If you put on a legendary and have some gear on, click a shrine, you can just mow. And if you can go shrine to shrine to shrine, you can mow T16 effortlessly, or T6 while you're leveling. Then I think it's going to probably help casual players the most because the clones scale off of your damage. I mean, you can find some decent gear and click a pylon, and in GR 70 and 80, even with some of the Blood mentioned, some of the clones have wildly varying damage levels. They're going to help you a lot. And there really doesn't look like, unless they find an exploit, they're not really going to help the elite players very much at the higher levels, which actually I would guess in the elite community is actually very well received. Like we don't want the seasonal theme to just mow everything down for us. We want to actually play Diablo 3. So when I think about it from that way, this seasonal theme helps you level. It helps you at low tiers. It seems to help casuals more than elite players, and it seems to buff solo more than group, which I think is another huge benefit. So if they fix all the problems with the Shadow Clones, did they get it right in terms of the power level and the benefit to the people playing? Maybe Rhykker, you can give your input. What do you think about that? Did they get it right?
Yeah, so assuming they fix the issues, I think everything that you lined up from a philosophical level, if that's the purpose of the shadow clones, I think that works fine. To circle back real quick, it sounds like you had like a really positive first experience with the shadow clones. I did as well. This is my favorite season theme ever because they brought me tremendous entertainment value. My very first shadow clone experience, I click the pylon. I'm a crusader. I see my shadow clone spawn. I'm like, all right, let's see what this guy's gonna do. And he falling swords up into the air.
It's the
And
best.
he just Team Rocket blasting off again. He never came down, and that was immensely hilarious to me. He just disappeared.
He's
Poochie
gonna
returned
land,
to his home planet,
Rhykker.
and he was
You
just
just gotta
gone.
wait.
Did nothing.
You just wait.
You got to
He's
be
coming
patient, dude.
back. He's coming back, man.
He went to go grab a bag of cigarettes. You know,
Yeah, I think
But-
1 out of 3 Crusader clones do that. So
really,
Don't leave me
wow.
dead. Come
Yeah.
back.
they falling sword and they never come back. Yeah.
But yeah, no, from the power level, if that's the way it works, like I think that's a fair balance where it doesn't futz. If it doesn't futz too much with the high level play, because I think that's a big concern. If high level players, they don't want to, all the hard CC is going to interrupt things and it's going to break the meta too much. The thing is, I think PTR brought up an excellent point that I'm concerned about. It's mostly just the high level players are going to really notice what the clones are doing. Whereas if you play more relaxed, it's just like, oh, well, I'm stronger because I have a pylon. And there's so much visual clutter unless you're really paying attention. Who's the one that killed something? Even in group play, oftentimes there's so much visual clutter. It's hard to tell, am I the strong one? Is it my teammate carrying me? Am I carrying him? Who knows? Everything is dying so fast. There's so much on screen.
The Demon Hunter, Wizard, and Necromancer obliterate like a 110 to 115 Rift Guardian, like 10, 15 seconds. And it's pretty noticeable. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Demon Hunter. I think it's the rapid fire clone. It has like these lasers that shoot out. I mean, I have clips in like 10-second, 115 kills from the Demon Hunter clone. Like, you definitely can see that. But then you get Crusader, and then there's just like the shield just boinks off the Rift Guardian. It's really hilarious. Like, it does like 1% damage, if that. It's really, there's a huge variant there. And I thought it was like, I thought the sheet damage really affected it. So then I used AoV, nothing. I used the con bomb, nothing. I used Roland. It's all the same in terms of Satyr clones at like a low level, like the 110 to 115 level is really bad. But
My first experience was the same. Like I tested with Witch Doctor first, and I was thinking like about 105, maybe 105, 110, something like that. And it just two-shot the Rift Guardian. The first hit took it to like 10%, and then the second one killed it. And I was like, did that just happen? Or did my Mundanugos, like, did I have a sprinkler bomb hit it or something? And I was like, oh, that's juicy. So, I mean, do you remember what happened with yours, Anna? First time. Do you remember getting it?
Oh, first time in the lower Greater Rifts. On the lower Greater Rifts, clones are destroying everything, and I don't see like a huge change between different clone builds. It's anyway up to 100. It's gonna destroy everything. Higher, no, it's not. It's never gonna kill the Rift Guardian if you're going higher. So, by the way, like, the philosophy behind clones, I like it, but because it's so unbalanced, depends on the different characters. Rax was asking, like, are you okay with this level of damage of clones? About which level of damage we're talking about? For which character right now we're talking about? Which level of damage we're gonna choose here? Because it's completely different.
I guess, like, ideally, like, what would be the number you guys would want across the board, whether that's group play or solo? Like, if you pop a pylon and you pop a clone on a Rift Guardian, like, what's the number that we would want to see from level 1 to level 150? Like,
yeah, I think kind of to answer that, Blood, in the same as Rax, I like the fact that it helps in the lower levels and doesn't help as much in the top tier levels, because I think that's the top of the leaderboard is where you want skill to shine. And I think that the seasonal theme removes that. But Blood, to your point, like, I think it's okay if at the speed farming levels that it destroys a Rift Guardian. That's kind of the benefit. Like, oh, hey, I got this pylon as the Rift Guardian spawned. Cool. it's going to kill it for me. I think it's a satisfying feeling to be like, oh yeah, my clone's going to do this for me, you know. So personally, I'm okay with it one-shotting.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that the clone damage, mostly, the clone damage is scaled with your damage, with your character. So usually environmental seasonal buff means that last 2 seasons what we got, you have insane seasonal buff that's killing everything. And doesn't matter. You can run there with support gear. The most important thing, you should stay alive. Seasonal theme will destroy everything. Right now, it's not like this. You anyway need to put something in your character. You need to make it stronger to make your clones actually deal some damage. No, depends on the character again, but anyway, you need to put something in your character. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, and yeah, so there's a lot of really good points here. So to Blood's question, what is the right level of things? The thing that is most important to me in Diablo is not necessarily like my own personal opinion of how I think it should go. For the health of the game and the health of the community, I want the seasonal theme to be well received, right? And like Anna said, the fact that now that it's scaling with a player's power level, and the fact that it can help people kind of in the lower 100s, if you built your character correctly and you have any kind of power, the clones are going to do real work for you. And the way that it's currently set up, I like how it kind of ingratiates new players in a way that they can see I think it's going to help them progress to higher levels, right? Because I think a lot of the casual players who are just kind of there's like the really casual players that are just totally playing for fun and don't care about the leaderboards, but just slightly higher than that. There are some people that would just like to, set a new record for themselves, right? Would like to clear a new best Greater Rift if they could. And I think the seasonal theme is really going to help them get there. If they cleared a 90 last season and they want to clear a 100 this season, well, at 90, when you got your build put together, those clones are going to do work for you. If you get 4 pylons, it's gonna smash for you. But then you get to 95, they're going to help you big time, but not quite as much, and you're going to have to work there. But I hope it's going to motivate more of the casual players to get to some new goals if they hadn't previously gotten very high. And because I think the community might receive it well, I'm in favor of it. Okay. Anything else on the right power level? Any final thoughts on that? Okay. So here is a big question. Okay, here's a big one, and it might be kind of hard to wrap our heads around here, and maybe we'll throw the hard one to Anna. Ready? Do you think
Anna's
do you think that having new overpowered builds introduced in a season, do they help or do they hurt Diablo 3 more? They come out with something new and it just dominates. Like, let's say the bomb Seder right now is just crushing. Does that help or hurt Diablo 3?
Everyone loved power. That was the same as with Mundo Nugu. Now Crusader, I guess Crusader is too overpowered. Yeah, like everyone is waiting how Crusader will be nerfed. Overall, because we are going in the direction of more power, we're anyway going into this direction. Then yeah, more power, more overpowered builds. Yeah, we will. The only problem is that, yeah, we will reach the 150. The more overpowered builds we have, the more characters will reach 150, then there is no challenge. Then what should we do? The problem with overpowered builds that if you giving us the overpowered builds now, which can clear 150 at some point, the only way where you can go right now, you can only nerf it. You can only go down now. And people don't like when you are nerfing things. No one like when you're taking away the damage. when Mundunugu was nerfed, like everyone was crying, oh my gosh, they killed the Witch Doctor, but actually Mundunugu is still insanely powerful. And the same goes to like every class. It's we like it, but it's causing us a lot of problems in the future.
I think it's like players are like, why would I come back? So you're walking by the food court and same old stuff. Oh, there's a con bomb. Oh, there's a twister wizard.
Tasty.
So like, yeah, someone might not be into a con bomb. Someone might not be into twister wizard. Oh, but bone spear is back. So I think there needs to be stars of every patch. And I think it's okay, to your question, that there are some things that are a little too strong, because that's the reason why people come back. A lot of people anyway. So it's like, oh, what's new? What's hot? Oh, same old stuff. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to McDonald's now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You gotta bring the McRib. Like, how many times do you see
Yeah.
McDonald's bringing the McRib back? You know what I mean? So just cycle. That's a good analogy, Blood. Just keep cycling it, but you have to cycle it though. So like, people either have to accept the nerfs, or that's kind of one of the reasons that I think that a global nerf would be okay if they could pull it off. But because then you can constantly creep back up until Diablo 4 is released. But if you cycle things, then the OP is going to be fun for the season, but you have to keep that cycle going every season. Like, you have to buff 2 or 3 classes, bring those super powered ones from the previous season down into the acceptable range, and then you can kind of keep that rotation going and keep people coming back, But
Anyway, at least with a massive nerf right now, everyone to level 70. Yeah, everyone will be pissed, but at least everyone will be pissed at the same time. And then a little bit later,
yeah,
we are all going back. Because right now, like every season, my character was nerfed. Like one category of people is angry. But it's happening every season. Every season, like new people are becoming sad and upset. But like this, at least the whole community will be gathered with one emotion.
Misery loves company.
people get upset about PTR nerfs now. Like, that's the crazy thing, is like
Oh,
when
wow.
Crusader gets
Big time,
Crusader
yeah.
bomb gets nerfed, people are going to be mad at Crusader getting nerfed because it's OP right now. So it's a thing, right? People want updates so much that PTR becomes like it's real. It's not testing at this point. It's like, oh, we want this. This is it.
For me, I think it depends on how we define overpowered. Like, if I'm interpreting it like the Crusader right now, the Bombardment Crusader is overpowered, and I think that if we have OP builds every season added to the game, I think that's something in the short term positive, but again, in the long term leads to problems. New strong builds, like new top builds, I think is good, but if it's the new OP build of the season, this is going to dominate. I think in the long run that does harm. To go with the food court analogy, like just having more options of kind of equal top quality as opposed to just this new thing that's better than everything else. I think that strikes that happy middle ground of opening up variety without, just having something that is so crazy powerful that you either have to nerf it and make people unhappy, as Anna says, or then buff up everything else and continue with the power creep for years and years.
Yeah, like I don't want a con to be this strong. Just I want there to be stars of the patch. But yeah, no, Crusader is way too strong in general. But the Necromancer is a good example of, it's on the menu now where it's really good, but it's not like insanely right now good. So
yeah, so those are really good thoughts, and I really agree with what Bloodshed said. I think in every patch, the main idea, kind of going back to everything, is how do we attract people to continue playing the game and to bring them back? And I think the way to do that is to have a star of the patch notes, or a couple of stars that Blizzard has put some serious work into, and these builds are the ones that are emerging in this patch that you can really play. So there was the potential for that to happen here. Obviously, the Bomb Satyr has done that. It's just too strong. So maybe if they nerf it a little bit, then Bomb Satyr did accomplish that. And there was an opportunity there to have the Twister Wizard be back as well, right? That's something that PC players hadn't played too much recently, and Wizard needs some big help, right? So I would love to see. In general, I do think that having a star of the patch will bring people back and will get people interested. And I hope that with the extended PTR and who knows when the next season is going live, I hope with that time frame that they can give us maybe a couple more stars. I guess the Bone Spear Necro was a big winner. That's going to be a super S tier build. So if we can get the Twister Wizard, the Bomb Satyr, and the Bone Spear to as Rhykker pointed out, a very strong but not overpowered level, I think people could get excited about it. All right. So let's do the kind of a wrap up of the wrap up. Let's talk about like our overall feelings about season 22. And maybe I can pick on Rhykker for the first one here. So here's the question. If they release season 22 today without any changes and maybe they fix the lag or something, would you consider it a success or not? And why?
Oh yeah. So I guess it would, if it launches as is, assuming there's no like bugs or lag problems, I guess it would be a short-term success because new OP thing, everyone's gonna love it in the short term. Long-term success, no, it's a huge problem to have this OP build launch in the game if they're not gonna nerf, in the next season. But yeah, if they can fix that balance and make the shadow clones operate properly, then yeah, it'd be successful.
Yeah, I think success. I think even though I'm not happy with like the balance and all the stuff of the shadow clones and like the build balance, overall, like there's enough fun toys to play with the cube alone. Has the implication for every build, every bounty, speed build, group build, GR build, solo build. Like it has literally a small little touch on every aspect of the game. I think it would be good. It's just not what we want yet. It's not there.
I guess people are so tired of season 21, and a lot of community didn't like that much the seasonal theme. That's why the 4th cube slot gonna be a success no matter what. Okay, Crusader need to be nerfed. But anyway, even though, if we're keeping the Crusader where it is, even though I think community will be really happy with the 4th cube slot, so it's gonna be a success, not 100%.
Yeah, I think if it launched the way it is right now, to me personally, the 4th cube slot could carry the season, but I'm disappointed in the balance changes that we got to the classes from a personal standpoint. I feel really bad because I feel like so much effort went into making shadow clones, and I feel like conceptually it's a really good idea. And I feel like all the time and energy spent was devoted to, hey, I'm gonna make this seasonal theme that's phenomenal and people are gonna love it. And then I think it kind of just missed the mark, unfortunately. But I feel like it probably took a lot more effort than we realize in the back behind the scenes. So I feel a little sad for that. But the 4th cube is so good that it'll make the season fun. I really want to get a big seasonal balance to hit. Like, Adam kind of promised us a little bit of overbalance this season, and I was excited for that.
So I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nancy, I guess. And I'm going to say that if season 22 went live right now, that I don't think I would consider it a success for some of the things that you guys have mentioned. So the 4th cube slot is really good, right? That's really good. And one thing that I think that they got in a really good spot is the Bone Spear Necro. The Bone Spear Necro is now a top tier build. No one's screaming that it's super stupidly overpowered, and it's in a good spot. The other things that came, I think almost all of them have missed the mark, which of course is for the PTR, right? So they can make further changes. So I think the Twister Wizard is unplayable. I think the LOD, the Hydra is not. I was excited for it until I played it, and then I wasn't excited for it. The Bomb Satyr is way too strong, and a lot of the other builds that got buffed, while Blood made the point earlier, and I agree with him that they're going in the right direction, it just missed the mark. It's just they're not super viable. Like Frozen Orb now is kind of viable, But everything else is, in the grand scheme of things, not really that much more viable than it was before. The Nervold set is good, and that gives a lot of options. And the shadow clones, I think, with the discrepancies in it and some of the bugs and stuff, I don't think it can launch as it is, and all the lag. So they definitely have the opportunity to fix a lot of the things, right? They already removed the hard CCs from the clones. They could balance them a little bit better. They could maybe fix the lag issues. Twister Wizard could be good. They could put in a small nerf to the Bomb Satyr and maybe fix some things with the chicken. They do that. They did amazing. But right now, if I looked at it and went live, I don't think I could call it a success. So on those lines, and maybe we can go back to Blood here. If you could ask Blizzard to make one change to the patch notes, one thing, these patch notes to make season 22 better, what would you ask them to do?
Oh man, what a hard question.
If you can't do one, that's okay. If you can do a couple.
Well, I mean, they look like they tried really hard to make Wizard work. They got Hydra and Twisters and Frozen Orbs. Oh my, right? And none of the Wizard builds, like you said, are not a standout. So I would probably, even though it would cause lag still, I would probably just give us the Wicked Wind rune with Twister Wizard, so at least we have a God Twister Wiz, and then they could fix it next season. That way, at least we could play Twister Wiz, and people that don't feel like playing this Thorn Bomb can maybe play Twister instead.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I was going to say. I think the Wizard needs help. I mean, I'm not a Wizard player, but I'm still bless RNG for the Wizard. I mean, I just think I feel bad for them. They've been so bad for so long. The Twister Wizard was their opportunity to be great. It's way too laggy. If they could do something like make one gigantic Twister that just dominates everything, and then it's a super great build and it's not laggy, I would feel really good for Wizards and really good for the patch going forward.
Yeah. Sacrificed our Edge Sigil. It better work, man.
They've broken so many things for Wizards, and they broke all the channeling things a couple seasons ago just to get rid of Star Pact and so much. I agree with Blood a lot, man. I think Wizard was if somebody asked me to bet money before the patch notes hit, like who's going to benefit from this season the most, Wizard was that's where I was putting all my money. If they gave us one giant Twister that we could keep just growing in size and getting it bigger and better, like that would be kind of fun to play, and maybe you could fix the lag because it's one Twister hitting damage instead of a million. I don't know, but I would hope they could fix Twister. Just to be different though, I'll say make Zombie Bears good. Let's get Zombie Bears tweaked up, and because I know there's like Wish Doctor is my least favorite class in Diablo. I'm sorry, everybody, don't hate me, but Mundanugos is one of my favorite.
Unfollowed you.
Everybody
Unfollow.
I know it's crazy. But Mundanugos is one of my favorite sets in the game, so it's kind of weird how one of my favorite play styles is the class that I play the least. So I would love to have more things that I personally enjoy on Witch Doctor, and I enjoyed Zombie Bears, so I would say juice that up, and I'd be happy if they can't fix Twister.
I am giving this one change to Wizards, okay? SVI is so sad, so let's give the buff. If we can choose only one, let's give it to Wizards, because I was spreading those rumors the whole season 21. Each time when people were asking what will be in the next season, what will happen in the next season, I was saying, yeah, Wizard gonna go back, Wizard gonna have the power. Wizard will get buff, and right now it feels like Blizzard went too careful. I don't know, and Wizards didn't get as much love as it should. And of course, nerf Crusader. Yeah, like in a pack. Buff Wizard, nerf Crusader. I don't want a Crusader be right now how meta looks. Right now, meta looks like 2 Crusaders, Barbarian and Monk. Like, one character should keep one spot, not 2 spots. Don't be a trash kill and a boss kill at the same time. Leave it. I'm okay if it
Greedy,
would be
yeah.
any other class. I'm okay with beta, which talked about. I'm okay if it would be any other class, because then the team will be like more variety in a team. Will be different players, will be different characters.
Well, if Crusader goes through this strong anyways, it's forcing you to kind of play it. I mean, obviously you can play what you want, but if it's that overpowered, you're gonna play it. You're gonna be like, okay, well, I want to speed 130 solo. I want to speed 140 solo, whatever it is. So you're gonna play that class. I personally don't find the Crusader set that fun. Like, and I might be in the minority here, but it didn't make me go, dude, this is so much fun. I can't wait to play this.
The only thing fun is how powerful it is, the inherent gameplay. Yeah.
Well, some people like the play style, and that's totally fine. Like, I understand that mine's an opinion, and other people may love it, but me personally, I don't. I want something else to play. So at least have options would be great. So that's why I want
There's
Wizard to get
always
used.
there's always like two kinds of players. There are people who are going each season just for the character which is the strongest. And yeah, it's forcing you, if it will be released like this, it's forcing you to play Crusader. So nerf it.
Yeah. If I had to pick one
harder
thing,
to choose. Yeah, make it harder to choose who you want to play, who you need to play next season.
well said. Well said. Yeah. I feel having one OP build does far more damage than having undertuned wizards or anything else, because you can always buff things that are underpowered, and people always love buffs. So maybe people are not super happy now, but you can make them happy in the future. But if you then have to nerf the OP build in the future, you're making people unhappy. So you're limiting choice. People feel compelled to play something they might not like. People feel compelled, I got to do this to keep up with the group meta. If I had to pick one thing, it would be balance Crusader. I still want it to be a top build, to clarify, but it shouldn't be crazy OP.
Perfect. And so PTRchild kind of segued into the next topic that we have. Let's say that everything goes in as this. Obviously, Crusader is stupidly strong, but if season 22 goes live as it is, what will you start as? What are you going to play? What are you going to push? Maybe we can start with Blood, since he tested literally everything. He's probably got everything in his mind of what he's going to do.
Up. If it went live tonight, right, without even thinking about it, I would probably go Necromancer for the leveling process. For the instant guaranteed power you get. And I'm not even a meta guy, and I go Necromancer, so that probably says a lot about how well balanced the set is. And it's fun to speed with, like Rhykker said. It's fun to just play. It's tanky, you can do groups with it. It's just a great all-around build. That's probably what I would do, like if it just went live tonight randomly, for sure.
So real quick before we expand on this question, a question about what Blood said, and I kind of talked about this earlier about whether the seasonal theme was a success or not. So I agree with what Blood just said. I think the Bone Spear set has really been put in a good spot by Blizzard. It's fun. They gave it to you in the beginning. It's very powerful. It's speedy, but it's not like stupidly strong. Rhykker, PTRchild, Nana, do you guys feel that way as well? Do you feel that maybe the Bone Spear set, the power level and the way that it runs now in season 22 that we saw it on the PTR, is that a good model for how they should try to make other sets, or do you think it's too strong or maybe too weak?
I think it's in a good spot. I think the set itself, it can be manipulated to do speeds. It can be manipulated to do pushing. It's not crazy fragile, which is a big problem for Necro. People always complain about how glass cannon they are. And I personally am not a fan of glass cannon playstyles and builds, because I think players getting killed by one-shot mechanics doesn't, especially newer players, it doesn't feel good. You're like, what just happened? I don't even know what just happened to me. So I think it's a great, toughness is balanced, damage is balanced. I think it feels good. Might be a little OP, maybe, but that could be the seasonal theme going into that too. And you got to remember not to balance around the seasonal theme. So yeah, I think it feels good.
Yeah, pretty much agreed completely with that.
Haven't heard anything like I'd really like to say nerf everything except Witch Doctor. But so far during this PT, I haven't heard anyone who would say nerf that Necro is actually overpowered. No, there is only a lot of compliments how well it's working, and how exactly in the right place it is.
Yeah, so to go back, if season 22 was starting today for me, I would definitely start as a Necro. God, they have just the most amazing start, and they get such a strong set. And then we can do this brand new XP meta called Rats, and just speed
How's that
125.
work? I don't even know how those. What does that mean?
Who is Rats?
Do you actually want me to?
No, like I'm totally joking.
Okay.
If you guys don't know and you're listening to this, like you can Google. It's been a thing for a couple years now.
Yeah, our rat overlords are back. This might be the best rat season ever. And in case anyone out there does not know what it is, it's a team of Necro, Barb, and actually there are some variations to it now. Some people are talking about maybe replacing one of the rats with a Bone Spear Necro. Who knows? Maybe you can maybe even bring a Bomb Satyr or something, and they can, with the cube power that they're going to get this season, they're going to be able to erase at least GR 120, if not GR 125s as a 4-man team in under 2 minutes. And it's going to be absolutely crazy. But I am kind of a robotic, efficient guy. I will start Necro. I will blast rats if they don't nerf it. And I will try to power up as much as possible. And then probably play some Whirlwind Barb, Tempest Rush Monk, probably the Bone Spear Necro. And probably if they're not going to nerf it, I'll play God DH for as long as it's strong there. What about the rest of you guys? So Blood's doing Necro as well. What are you going to start as, right? You're going Necro too, aren't you? Are you doing Bone Spear again?
On the assumption that Crusader will be nerfed, Necro, if it were launched today, I would go Crusader as my main for the season.
Yeah, Necro for me, because it's it's just got so much flavor. There's so many things. Like I actually don't hate rats. I really don't. I think rat runs are really fun in the game. It's just we've done them so much. So uh, people hate it, and I completely am with you. I don't want to do it again, but all in all, it's one of my favorite speed metas. Probably my favorite speed meta ever. The first season we had rats, I was like, this is phenomenal. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
And I like Singularity Mage T16s. That's my favorite T16 build, which is kind of crazy, but definitely Necro. And then might do a side of Witch Doctor if they can, get zombie bears and chicken fixed. Like if they get zombie bears and chicken fixed, that would be fun. But Necro.
Are you going to do something besides the Witch Doctor, Anna, or are you just only Witch Doctor forever?
Always in my heart, but now surprise. Actually, I will probably start the season as a wizard.
What?
But it's,
really?
But it's nothing about the efficiency.
Reported for
because we are
self-harm,
happy.
right, FJ?
Wait, so why wizard? Are you just trying to make SVR happy? Because I'm sure it's working, but why wizard?
Just
We bribed her with something. We just
first
don't
of
know
all,
what it is yet.
I believe that it's not the final. We have extended PTR. It's not the final changes. Everything can happen. And yeah, I guess we hope Wizard will get more love in the end, in the season that we will actually see. But no, it's nothing connected with efficiency. It's just a couple of months ago, I promised to do a Wizard cosplay. I will be a Wizard on the beginning of the season. Kinda have to level the Wizard.
Oh,
in the Wizard outfit, you're leveling.
Yeah.
So day
Leveling
two,
the Wizard.
Yeah.
day two, she's Witch Doctor. It makes sense.
No. Actually, of course, I'm day 2 Witch Doctor. But what I'm planning to do like this season, I'm also planning to try Necro. Too many people said that it's too amazing. My gosh, I can't. I'm on the hype, I guess. If there are gonna be no changes, but I'm the person who is like not a huge fan of rats. They are kind of too. You're always doing the same. No, I can do this for 3-4 times, but I can't do it hours and hours and hours only rat runs.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That's why
I have like
not
an
runs,
hour or
but
2 limit.
Bone Spear seems really, really, really interesting and just nice to play. We will see.
So what I think,
But yeah, my heart is always with Witch Doctor, especially right now, especially with this kind of new mechanic when you can put conversion of elements in even in the solo Witch Doctor Mundunugu and try to be really, really high on the leaderboard. So yeah, with the 4th cube slot, I will try really push hard on Witch Doctor. But we will see, guys. We have an extended PTR. It's not the end. It's not the end. There's definitely going to be some changes because that's why it's extended.
Yeah.
So
if we look at do you guys remember when we got the PTR for the new monk set? I don't even remember what patch that was nowadays,
Yeah.
but when we
Yeah.
first got that new monk set, everybody freaked out. It was garbage, man.
Yeah.
And like Justice Monk is a phenomenal set. There's some small changes I would make to it to make it a little bit better, but overall, Justice Monk was a home run in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that PTR, oh my gosh, Monk was so bad. So this is just the first round. I think we'll get more. I think the problem we have is the length of the period of time between when they announce the patch notes and then like we don't have any updates yet at all as far as set changes. And so everybody like silence makes the community freak out, myself included. Like silence is like the worst thing ever. If they're just like, hey guys, we're working on stuff, and we're like, oh, but like we don't know anything. So we go freak out mode.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so we have one additional thing that ThaPChild sent us before we started that we can talk about. We talked about the other 2 topics that he had. So some people have the opinion that if the seasonal theme is breaking the PTR servers, right? So right now in the PTR, they're taking down the 4th cube slot and testing stuff, and then they're taking down the shadow clones and testing stuff. I don't know why they're doing that. I'm guessing they're trying to research maybe some of the problems with the lag. It's just a guess. Some people have the opinion just maybe scrap one of the seasonal themes. I'm guessing when they say scrap the seasonal theme, are they meaning the clones? Because I think if we take away the 4th cube slot, I think people are going to rage real hard.
I think so too. Yeah, a big like response that I get back. Hold on. Sorry.
It's all good.
My devices want to chime in. Can't even say the name because it'll start talking again. I think one of the responses that I get a lot of times is like just scrap the theme and just go live. Like they're tired of season 1 dragging on too long. So I was just curious how you guys felt about that. If you guys agreed with it or disagreed with it.
Scrap the shadow clones.
Yeah, I'll say shadow clones.
I mean, I mean, as somebody who doesn't really like them that much, I think they should keep them. They've already wasted so much development time. They've already extended our season an extra month, probably because of the shadow clones, which I'm not, happy with. But it I have no control over it. So I think they should just stick with it and simplify it and make it work.
With that too. Like I don't think they should scrap it either. But it's kind of overwhelming at times how many people are like, I don't want season 21 to go on any longer. Just stop and do it.
Simplify is a good idea. Just for example, leave all the clones with 1 build. Why it should be like with 3 builds? They're all dealing different damage. It's really weird. It's just okay. It will be way easier to work with just 1 clone variation. That's a solution, but completely get rid of this. I don't know. I really like new things. I really like why it's a new way to play. It's always new. Yeah, it's a new way to play. You will have to plan better. You see something new in a season. Why not? So only completely getting rid of the clones only if like there is no other options.
I always like to look at situations like this by taking the most extreme example possible and then dialing it back. So the most extreme example would be, what if they could never figure out this lag issue? Would we all be okay with season 21 lasting literally forever? And the answer is no, right? No one would be like, yes, delay it for 10 years. I want the shadow clones at some point. So then the debate becomes, well, at what point Is it a year? Probably still too long. 6 months? Too long. And we keep dialing back until we reach a point where people start disagreeing over how long we're willing to delay. And that's kind of how we arrive at, yes, there is some point, and we're just debating over what it is. Ideally, I think a lot of us would like the clones to go live. But I guess my question then, to turn back to everyone, is how long would you be willing to wait for them? How long do you want season 21 to be extended? Are you willing to wait a week, 2, 3? Do you have some time frame, or are you, no, as soon as possible, screw the clones, like just get us to season 22?
Yeah, so I really like the way that Rhykker approached that question. I think that's really, really smart, just not only for this one, but just for problems like this in general. Um, the problem that we're currently having, I think, right now with season 21 is, first of all, it's gone on too long, right? And I just think the theme was not well received at all. So we're stuck in a really long season, in a season that people are not excited about. I would say maybe like another month would be like a pretty extreme thing. And I am perfectly okay and would vocally support if Blizzard needs to make some tremendous changes to the Shadow clones to solve their issues. So one thing that we have talked about a lot since the beginning is go down to 1 Shadow clone per class. I'm okay if they change it to 1 Shadow clone. A Shadow clone that has 1 ability from every class, and it just rotates it, and everyone gets that Shadow clone. Then it completely solves the problem of the different Shadow clones for the different classes. I'm hoping that only having 1 variation of it will simplify everything. You can pick the skills that do the least amount of damage. And in fact, you could even be as crazy as you can just pick 6 skills that are just 6 buffs, and it actually doesn't do any damage. It just does 6 buffs from the different classes. You could even simplify it in that way in order to get season 22 up and running. Now, I'm not a game developer, right? Those suggestions, while they may seem like simplifications to like the standard person, oh, we'll just cut the number of clones down. That might actually be more development time than trying to fix what they already have. I don't know, but I would say about a month more is about all I would be able to stand. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I would have liked it a month ago. So, you know, I think that month, like, yeah, I mean, I could wait a month, and holiday season's coming. Like, there's just so many things I could go into, which I won't, but about why pushing it back further is just making it even worse for the game in general. But we can't have the season launch the way it is now. Like, the PTR wouldn't be a good launch, so we're in a bad spot. They have to crunch out some major changes fast, in my opinion. So
I'm already telling people that the new season will be in the new year. I don't understand why you're surprised. You haven't heard? It's gonna be
I haven't
next
heard.
year.
You heard it here first.
But
21.
actually,
Yeah.
crazy idea. Like maybe, yeah, again, season 21 takes too long. Maybe, yeah, actually receiving the season 22 without the clones and just keep them for the next season. Because right now, as much as they need to balance Crusader and all the classes, all the buffs that they gave right now, as much as they need to balance plus clones, yeah, it's I guess it's really, really hard. And yeah, we can stuck here in PTR for quite some time. So I also don't want this. I'm not sure, like a month, I'm not sure that I'm willing to take it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, for myself, I agree. Like a month longer than the season was already going to be. I think it's pushing it a bit. And one thing that I guess I haven't really spoken about is I'm just happy with how much we've gotten with this patch. Like, quality of what we're getting aside, just the amount of quantity that we've been getting. This patch, the past few patches, I'm really happy with how much love D3 has been getting again from the team. They're being a lot more ambitious. I think this is all fantastic. So even if they have to push the Shadow clones to the next season, by itself, everything else is more content than we've had in some past seasons. So I would be okay with maybe 2 weeks I would go. of a delay before just putting the Shadow Clones off to the next season.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point, Rhykker. I mean, we should be thankful, right? Diablo has been out for how many years, right?
8
and
years.
they're working on other titles, right? And we're still getting gigantic patches where they're trying to fix everything. So yeah, it's good to take a moment and pause and be thankful for everything that Blizzard's doing. It's a really good point. Now we are going to do something never before done and something that's going to be very fun. So a lot of you have sent us Twitter questions, which is really good. And we've got 5 of them. And the 5th one, Rhykker, we have a special request for you to read it, and it will be on screen. But let's start with the first one. And maybe we'll have Rhykker. Okay, let's see the order here. So maybe we can have Rhykker go first on this one. The first question is for Mr. Rhykker, and everyone can answer. If you could cosplay as any other member of the panel, who would it be and why?
Bluddshed, because of the amazing beard.
Yeah.
Easiest question.
I mean, listen, I got it right here.
No, you came prepared, man.
I was ready for this question. Hey guys.
And I saw today a blue hoodie. In a shop.
I thought, see, listen, Rax sent me a memo and he's like, make sure you wear a blue hoodie for the Danctuary podcast. I'm
like, yeah.
Got you, man. I would take Rhyker's voice. Can we cosplay a voice? I'm jealous, man. Like, dude, in all honesty, like I want Rhykker just like to read me bedtime stories every night. That could be like billionaire right there, dude.
It's 2020, man. You can do whatever you want.
You know?
I mean, you guys can see who I'm chasing. I got a couple more years, but one day I'll be Bluddshed. I gotta shave it. I don't know how he does it, but
I wanted to come here with a fake beard, but I thought we have a serious podcast. I can't do this with you. But I feel myself so, I don't know, lonely. Look at you. Everyone with a beard when I'm not.
You're still part of the team, even more so.
Right.
What about you, Blood? Who would you be and why? Who are you going to be for Halloween?
From anybody from the panel?
From the panel.
Right. From the panel?
You're going to be yourself for Halloween?
I'd probably go Rhykker. Yeah. Probably go Rhykker. I just put my hat forward. I'm pretty sure that would work. It'd be easy. Yeah. So that's probably what I would go for.
Okay, here we go. Question number 2. Let's go to Anna. What skill do you think would be really fun in a build if it had a set for it? What skill do you want to make a set out of?
Well, Chicken has a weapon set, but it's not actually, you can't actually push with it. You can't go any further. But guys, just to mention, 140 Greater Rift, you are killing a Rift Guardian with a chicken. Yes, please. I want some gear that will actually buff Chicken insanely. Come on, please be more powerful than Mundunugu and more than Crusader, how it is. Because this is the most ridiculous Witch Doctor ability that can actually... That is actually existing. It's the only character where you can actually kill things with a chicken.
So I'd love to see a revive set. I want the Necromancer to actually be the commander of the undead. I want to raise an army.
That's a good answer, yeah.
I want to raise an enslaved nightmare and debuff all the monsters who have been debuffing me for all these years. I want to raise Perendia and have him smash people into the ground. So I'd probably do something with revive.
It's a great answer because so much development effort went into Revive. Like, I think more effort went into that skill than all the other Necro skills combined with regards to having to produce assets for all the different monsters and whatever. Like, it was just a ridiculous amount of effort and no one uses it. And it's such a shame.
Yeah, me and Rhykker were there at the Necromancer Summit and they sat there and told us how long it took. Just Revive was longer than every other skill combined. And nobody uses it. It's sad. It's super sad.
That's a rip, dude.
Yeah. For me, if I had to make a set out of anything, there's so many options, right? But I think visually it'd be a Phalanx set would be super cool to have all your dudes on the battlefield and like the army. Like there's nothing that really looks like that. And I think it'd be pretty cool to have a Crusader Phalanx for sure.
I was going to say Pony Satyrs, so it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. For me, it was always Strafe, but we got Strafe. You know, like that was like my skill forever, man. I always tried to make Legacy of Nightmares or Legacy of Dreams Strafe builds. So now that we have that, I don't know. I personally think rapid fire is cool, but I hate rapid fire bombs. I want the arrows to be okay. I don't know how phenomenal that'd be as a set, but I think as a skill, it's fun. So maybe like a real rapid fire build.
All right. Good answer is on question 3. Bloodshed, we'll start with you. If you could invent a whole new class, what would it be?
A whole new class. What would it be? Oh man. Well, in D4, I want like a cleric. I think it would be cool to have like some kind of like holy priest, Zakarum kind of dude, like in the trailer, or like some kind of like melee priest. Darkest Dungeon has one similar. I think it's called the Vestial in Darkest Dungeon, where they have like this like relic tome and then a club. I think it'd be cool to have like this mix of melee and yeah. That's kind of what I want. I'm missing that kind of more priesty, I guess.
Yeah,
for sure.
It would for me. It's a Death Knight, and I know everybody's gonna instantly go World of Warcraft. No, like a big like anti Crusader. This a big dark wielding sword demonology plate wearing just bringer of death melee class. That's what I want in the game.
So to piggyback on that, the thing that I want in Diablo is a shaman. And like PTRchild said, everyone's going to think about World of Warcraft, except I have a different answer. Yes, I want that shaman. I want an elemental shaman. And in D4, I'm going to ride down to the PvP areas and I'm going to have my totems and I'm going to blast everybody with chain lightning and kill everyone. That's what I want more than anything. Bring Ellie shamans to Diablo 4, please.
And
I definitely go with either the cleric-y type idea or the Death Knight. Those are both things that we've kind of talked about. If it's a cleric, though, I want it to be with a dark edge to it, like not like the lawful good type, but like some crazed fanatic zealot, maybe something like an inquisitor, who really brings that edge to an otherwise vanilla like good guy healing type of class.
And Anna, what about you? What class would you bring? I mean, we already know you already have your favorite witch doctor. I mean, does it get any better?
Class, yeah,
the
chicken class.
The chicken class.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how it's supposed to be called. I don't know which exactly it would be, but I'm more for. I know there's like a lot of people who actually enjoy the dark atmosphere of Diablo 2. And overall, like Diablo 4 seems to be also in those dark colors and in this direction. But I would really prefer to have a ridiculous character. I don't know, riding a pink pony, something like that.
You want a clown? A clown?
Yeah. Oh yes, Halloween.
Really, the clown class.
Actually, really scary thing. Yeah. Yes, please. But something that will add something that is completely not supposed to be there, like
the witch doctor.
Teddy bears, chicken witch doctor. But
damn, shots fired.
I wanna add a little drop of in all of this serious, really epic characters. So skeletons are going from the ground. I don't know where necromancer is killing is. Going destroying everything, and they are close to him, something completely weird and ridiculous, running around and making it like a little bit not so serious, probably.
Have you seen the movie It, Anna? Do you want Pennywise? Do you want Pennywise to come in on a tricycle with balloons and hand balloons to monsters, and then they explode?
Yeah,
in Diablo 4?
Killing everything with the balloons. Yeah, in a yellow coat. I will play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, yeah, D4 is like dark and everything's like brown, right? So she's probably just like, I want something fun. Like, there's got to be some kind of comic relief in this world, right? It can't just be all
Yeah.
dreary. I can
Yeah,
see
I
that.
wanna in
As long as it's
D4
not too far, like, no Princess Lillians, though. You know?
it's gonna be me anyway. In D4, I wanna be chasing in PvP area Rax and all of you guys on a pink unicorn. Like, I wanna be like, because at some point, I don't know, the stars will be on my side and I will kill one of you there in D4. And I wanna see the video when someone on pink unicorn killed
See,
the great players.
instead of being on our team, she wants to see. My thought process is like, we're gonna roll in as a team and get these other guys, and she's just like, no, I want you. Like, I'm
She
taking you
wants
down.
to kill you and take your ear, like in
I know,
Diablo
right?
2.
We ride in as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and one's on a pink
Right.
pony.
Right. Oh man.
All right.
I think it's called Heroes of the Storm, right?
Yeah, and don't they fart rainbows and hearts when you run around? They actually do that. They actually do that.
It's gonna be not that funny for you, then they will actually kill you.
All right, question number 4. And maybe we can start with Mr. PTRchild on this one. What is the best part of being a streamer and the worst part? I guess it says Diablo 3. What is the best part of being a Diablo 3 streamer, and what is the worst part of being a Diablo 3 streamer?
The best part's easy, man. The Diablo community is awesome. So like everybody in my community, and we share a lot of community members. I think all of us here on this panel. So it's they're all pretty awesome people. The worst part, I think, at times is probably like up front in your face is just people like dead game. You know what I mean? All the time, dead game. Why you play this? LOL. You know. But also in reality though is waiting for updates. Like when we had that season 13 patch, which lasted over a year between updates. It was like season 13, 14, 15 were all the same. That was pretty brutal. Not getting new content to keep you wanting to play the game and interesting things to talk about. So.
Yeah, the best part about streaming Diablo is, like P said, the community, but also like I feel like a mature kind of community, not just like age range, but like mature. Like I could have fun conversations with people from all walks of life all day. I can multitask, do other things. It's so much fun streaming Diablo because it's not like I have to focus on getting headshots in other games. I can just kind of talk and enjoy like the culture, the people, and just share stories. It's great. It's almost like I'm a IRL streamer sometimes, and Diablo's in the background because we're just hanging out like a bunch of friends. And the worst part about streaming Diablo is 4-month seasons because of the content drought. Not even close. I could probably do like 2 months, and then it's just like, okay, get me the PTR kind of thing.
Yeah, so I very, very much align with Blood there in that the best part, and really the way that he explained it, is Diablo is not really a game that you have to laser focus in, even when you're doing the really hard content. It actually allows you to interact with people all the time. And the part for me really is logging in and talking to people. And another example of that is this podcast. I mean, obviously I'm biased because here we are doing it, but I love how we reached out to a bunch of members of the community, and everyone wanted to join. Everyone's willing to give up a couple hours on their Saturday to just hang out and talk about the game and try to do what we can for the community. It's just it really kind of feels like home, and I consider I consider you guys my friends. I consider the viewers my friends, so it really means a lot. And it's just a little bit challenging. The hard part is kind of an old game, the content droughts. It's, what exactly do we do at certain times? So any way to keep the game fresh and any way to keep the game changing until we can get the next titles is probably the biggest struggle for me with being a streamer.
To take a bit of a different angle, I guess, because everything you guys said is absolutely true, but a bit of a different angle. Best part would be sharing something you love with the community. Worst part is turning something you love into work.
Yes.
I'd still rather be doing it than a different job, but it changes
Sure.
the thing, and you don't enjoy it the same way. You enjoy it differently.
Yeah, like back in the day when Halo was like my favorite game to play. Played it with all my friends, just blasting and blasting and blasting. And then if you get like a sponsor and you get on a team and you have to actually go to the national tournaments and they send you an email, they're like, "This is your practice schedule. This is what you're going to be training on. This is who you're going to be playing." It's like, wait a minute. I thought I was just going to log in and play some Halo and then go to the tournament. The second you have meetings, second you have to, it turns into a business is definitely a different experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it so feels like home. Diablo community is actually really, really nice. I have a little bit different experience as all of you because I'm female streamer. And but I feel myself like I'm at home in Diablo category always. I have here a lot of friends, and Diablo 3 is like the first game that I started to play and I started to stream. The first online game that I started to stream. That's why for me it's like it opened for me the world, the gaming world, and overall just to imagine how streaming is bringing you closer to people from all over the world. This is insane. This is the best part about streaming, because you can actually talk with people and hear their honest opinion, and not only like your neighbor, you can hear not only your neighbor, you can hear everyone everywhere from all parts of the world. And this is amazing. And also what is really, really cool right now in all of this Corona times, we kind of stuck. Everyone's stuck at home. But no, you're not stuck at home. You don't feel yourself lonely at all. Just go live. That's it. You have a lot of friends. Sorry. You have immediately the room full of people with whom you can talk, with whom you don't feel yourself lonely, which is really like for me, because I right now stuck in Germany without my family. My family is in another country. For me, I'm really, really happy that I started this journey. But but the worst thing, disconnected with that, I'm a female streamer. We're always receiving a lot of shit on there. If you're going online and if you're not male, you're always receiving a lot of weird attention. But I don't know. That's how it is.
I get all kinds of pictures. Okay, so yeah.
Blood sends me. Wait. Oh, sorry, Blood.
No,
well
I think
said though. That was beautiful. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went after me. That was great. That was nice.
No, that was really strong, and especially I think unfortunately, specifically this year, right? I think has been really bad for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. This year has really sucked, and I'm sure all of us have gotten messages where people are like, "You want to know what? I was going through a really hard time. I come to your stream, and we have a community here, and I feel like I'm a part of something, and I don't feel alone anymore." So anytime anyone sends us anything like that, it's really means a lot. And yeah, the Diablo community is a pretty rock solid place to be, but we're pretty biased over here.
No,
Okay.
it is a fact.
Yeah. Did you have anything else on that, CJ? Didn't mean to.
No. Just this isn't a bias. It is an absolute fact that we have an amazing community.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
So, Mr. Rhykker, there's a request for you. There is one final question on the screen. If you can read it, can you please read it for us and pick someone you would like to answer it? Or maybe you can even go first if you want.
Sure. Do you think... Hold on, let me try to full screen this. Do you think that separation of Diablo team from classic games team is a sign of good times ahead, or do you think that the change is in the name only? So I'll quickly jump in first. So to clarify, what he's talking about is we got confirmation recently indirectly that the Diablo team was in the classic games team, or Diablo 3 was part of Blizzard's classic games team for some time. And classic games is sort of the team that oversees all of Blizzard's games that are not in active development. We got confirmation that it was moved out of Classic back onto the Diablo team under what's called the Diablo Legacy team. And is this a sign of good times ahead? Yes, but we've already been seeing this for some time now, I believe. I believe when the game seemed to be in its twilight, where we got this massive balance change, and then it seemed like that was it. Like, we're going to go in full-on maintenance mode. And it kind of was that. And then they announced, oh, new sets. I think starting with the new sets, that was already being brought under the umbrella of probably the Diablo Legacy. So I think we can continue to expect what we've been seeing in the past few patches. Rax, you got thoughts?
I'm glad you called on me next, Rhykker, because I have the best answer possible for this question. When I want to know something about this and how I should feel about it, what I do is I go to youtube.com/Rhykker and I watch his news update where he tells me what happens and what it means. And he just did that. So he saved me a click to YouTube. No, but I'm one of those people that don't count my chickens before they're hatched. I don't look for signs. I don't look in the stars and read astrology about what is coming in the Diablo universe. I wait for Rhykker to research it and tell me what's coming. So I will just echo what Rhykker said. I'm so glad he went before me.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Hopefully it's going to free up a little bit more time for the guys that are actively developing Diablo 3 to not have to focus on the other classic games and only focus on Diablo. But I think it's more just a PR move, because we know Immortal's around the corner at some point. We know Diablo 4 is in the works. So I think this is kind of just a way to bring that IP together, you know?
I think it's a good thing. I think instead of just shelling it to something called classic games, you know, the graveyard or whatever, it's nice that it's something thought out and it's different. And we have been getting content, like Rhykker said. So I think it's only positive, basically. So yeah, gives me more confidence, even though I can't see it tangibly. We see it every patch, right? So yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's maybe like they have a game plan there. And I think that's one thing we always want to know is, do they have a plan? What's coming next year and the year after that? So they wouldn't just have this Diablo Games legacy team or whatever if it wasn't some bigger picture, possibly. So
we already said today that in like last patch, how many things they're trying to implement, how many things they're trying to change and to add. That's definitely a good sign. Yeah, like quality. We can talk about quality, but that they are trying and really hardcore trying to do something, that's actually it's a wonderful sign.
Well, that is pretty much going to do it for us today. I want to thank Rhykker, ThaPChild, Bluddshed, and Anna, first girl ever on the podcast, which is amazing, for the incredible discussion today. Next Saturday, we're coming back again for episode 5, and I think it's going to be maybe the episode I'm most excited for that we've ever had. And the topic is going to be, we are going to make our own patch notes for Diablo 3 on how we would change the game to make it better. I believe we are still finalizing the lineup, so we will have that information for you shortly. But if you want to hear any ideas to change Diablo 3, close greater rifts, auto pickup, death's press, anything like that, that's what's going to be next time. So thank you from everybody for the Danctuary podcast, and we'll see you next Saturday. Follow everyone on their social medias and follow Danctuary on Twitter and YouTube. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope you have an amazing Saturday. By the way, is anybody firing up their stream? Who's streaming after this? Anybody?
Blood.
Beach.
You're going to the beach? Really?
Yeah. Well, for dinner. There's like this nice restaurant that like overlooks the. Yeah.
Holy shit! Can I come? I want to come.
Yes.
Hell yeah! All right, no, but
you got a guest bedroom, Blood? What are you looking at?
The stream room, yeah, I got it, right here.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna go sleep in Blood's stream room. There we go.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we love you, and we'll see you next week.